Good evening, race fans, and welcome to One Hub Racing Season 19, round number 8, here in Austria for the Austrian Grand Prix. Brought to you by Next Level Racing, 3M Sim Racing, and partnered with Vespertine and ERT. I'm your commentator, Peter Narden, and joined with me once again is the always interesting Sullivan Lewis. Hello, Sully.
Good evening. Welcome back, and glad to be here for probably one of my favourite tracks on the calendar. And so late in the season, this race could decide it all.
It could indeed. And 3 to go in the season, 10 rounds. This is round 8, 9 and 10 to follow, obviously, if you know how to do your numbers. Aaron looking very calm and collected at the top, but there are a few championship permutations that we're going to go through that Aaron has to comply by, essentially, if he wants to. If anyone else, other people have to comply with, depending on where Aaron finishes. And Sully has that on hand for him as we wait for the lobby to fill up.
I do indeed. So, all of these are based on Aaron's finishing position, so from 1st down to 12th, and if he doesn't score. If Aaron is to win with fastest lap, Rageman and Liam are eliminated, and Gaza must finish 5th. If Aaron wins without the fastest lap, Rageman and Liam are still eliminated. Gaza has to finish 6th. So, very much between Gazaman and Aaron, but it does change a little bit further down. If Aaron finishes 2nd, Liam and Rageman are still eliminated, but Gaza can finish 8th or 9th with his fastest lap. If Aaron finishes 3rd, Rageman again eliminated, but Liam has to win with fastest lap to keep the championship fight alive for him. Gazaman must finish 11th or 12th with the fastest lap, so 2 drivers could still be in contention if Aaron finishes 3rd. Aaron finishes 4th, Rageman must win with fastest lap, Liam must also win, so one of those drivers will get knocked out if Aaron finishes 4th. Gazaman will still be in from this point down. If Aaron finishes 5th, Rageman has to win and Liam must finish 2nd. Aaron finishes 6th, Rageman must finish 2nd, Liam 3rd, but with fastest lap as well. That fastest lap point is kind of crucial for a lot of the results here. If Aaron is to finish 7th, it's 3rd for Rageman, 4th for Liam fastest lap. So if Aaron finishes 8th, Rageman has to finish just 3rd and then Liam just 4th, so it's very similar. We go down the order. If Aaron finishes 9th, it's exactly the same. Rageman has to finish 4th, Liam has to finish 5th. Both of them need the fastest lap. And Colin must win with the fastest lap to tie the championship if Aaron finishes 9th. So Colin is well in this fight. If Aaron finishes 10th, Rageman has to finish 4th, Liam finished 5th, no fastest laps there. But if Colin wins with the fastest lap, he takes the lead of the championship. Aaron finishes 11th, you know Liam and Rageman, they're going to be 5th and 6th, just with the fastest laps. Colin must win to take lead of the championship, and it's exactly the same for 12th. So, yeah, 11th and 12th are the same. And then if Aaron does not score, because obviously in one hub we do points a little differently, if Aaron doesn't score points, Rageman must finish 6th with fastest lap, Liam must finish 7th with fastest lap, and if Colin finishes 2nd with fastest lap, he will be our new championship leader. So Aaron is hoping for a win here to knock out 2 of his main rivals, because Gazaman and Colin will be closing that gap. It's just if he can get rid of Rageman and Liam after tonight's race.
So a lot of people still in the fight then, but it all goes down to where Aaron finishes and where they have to finish to still be in contention for the title. So we'll have a little look at the driver standings then to see what the gaps are and see who is still in contention. So it's just the top 5. So anyone below, such as Speed Quinn, Lawrence, and anyone less than 56 points are no longer in contention for the title, as the gap between Quinn and Aaron is a substantial 63 points. There's only 63 points on the table, I think. Is it 20 for a win and a point for the fastest lap? So technically, Quinn is still in a chance, but that's just but Aaron just doesn't score at all for the next 3 races, and Quinn wins all of them with fastest lap. So obviously Quinn would have been involved in the permutations if the gap was a little bit closer. His form came in early and then dipped, and now is starting to try and reel it back in, but he's still in contention for a top 3 if he can keep the consistency. So our championship leader Aaron is on 106 points for Mercedes, with it being a Mercedes 1-2 now, with Colin joining him in the top 3 on 89. 17 points between the two of them. So as we mentioned, second place and fastest lap for Colin and no points for Aaron will see Colin take the lead, with that gap being so close. Gazzaman, still a contender, but has fallen from second, is now third in the championship for Red Bull. 77 points for him, 12 points adrift of Colin, and 29 adrift of Aaron. Should still be in the championship fight next week, as long as Aaron doesn't significantly outscore him tonight in Austria. Liam, who won last week, was that his first race victory of the season? I believe. Yeah, first race victory of the season around Silverstone for Liam. Sees him still in contention for the championship, and really late bloomer here in One Hub Season 19, and up to 4th in the Alpine, 58 points. I think he scored 38 points in the last 2 races, so that's 2 podiums in the last 2, and the fastest lap to go on. So it was a second, first, and the fastest lap all in them, and has brought himself back in contention for the title. Rageban leading Haas is in 5th on 56, so only 2 points shy of Liam on 58. He's in the Haas, and the final driver still in contention for the championship. Speed Quinn leads the rest of the field in 6th, One Hub Racing Premium driver leading Williams, ahead of Lawrence in the Alpha Tauri on 38. Jake Combs in the other Alpine successfully scored points in the last 2, I believe, and got himself off 20. I think both Alpines were in a rut of being stuck on 20 points, and now both of them have managed to move away from that. But Jake still in 8th on 32. The other Red Bull MFC Trunders is on 30 points. Not really a fantastic showing for Red Bull for the constructors, but we'll get onto that a little bit later, as it looks like it's raining here.
It is.
In Austria, and 17 drivers on the grid. Wet quali. Whether it dries up, we'll have to wait and see, or if someone lets us know in chat. Is it going to be wet in the race? Let us know as well, because interchangeable conditions can not only throw qualifying out the window of who you're expecting to perform well, and the same can happen in the race. Top 10 rounded out by Giggle in the drivers in the second Haas. So both Haas's in the top 10. He's on 29 points and 3 points ahead of MCFC leading Alfa Romeo on 26. Leading McLaren then is ASW Mason Jr. Big John on 26 points as well. One of the racing premium driver in 12th, ahead of the Ferrari of O'Sully, who's on 25 points, and ahead of that and is the second McLaren in 14th, Hookie 66 with 18 points. ELT Jacko is on 16 points in the Aston Martin, failing to finish last week. He was late for the race, and I'm not sure whether he is racing this evening. He's not in the lobby. Whether he turns up late again, we will wait and see. Second Ferrari of Speedway is in 16th. He's on 11. IRL Neon is on 10 points. Yuri's DNF last week keeps him in 18th on 6 points for Alfa Romeo. And at the back, in 19th and 20, are Kingjin, who's on 5 points, and Goodlip, who I believe is not here either. He is the only driver yet to score points this season. Right. I think I've spoke too much. Yeah, Jacko not racing, Neon and Goodlip no show. Okay, thank you, Gaza. Oh, we've got a spinner and an accident. Whoa.
We both saw that coming. As Liam spins out of turn 1, he invalidated over the curb, collects Yuri, and that is Yuri out of this session.
He's going to be fuming. He's not going to be happy. He was just coming out of the pits, I think. And already drama in these wet conditions as... Wait. I thought it was Liam's wheel that came off. Whose wheel did I see on Liam's car? Was that Yuri's then?
I saw 2 wheels come off.
I saw a loose wheel. So whether they were Yuri's... I didn't even see Yuri's car at all, to be honest. I just see now he's DNF'd. I saw Liam had hit something, or someone, and it's going to be dry in 10 minutes according to Gaza. Danka. So these times set on the intermediates may not be worthwhile at all because the track is expected to dry.
It is indeed, and we have a few little things that I'd like to go over, as we had Rageman, who's one of our potential championship fighters, contenders, answered a few questions for us before race.
Sorry.
That's all right. We're going to see a lot of that, I think, turn 3, especially the lower speed corners in these wet weather conditions. But yeah, Rageman answered a few questions for us. A question asked was, are you looking forward to the high-speed nature of the track? He loves Austria. That was simple, short and simple and sweet. He loves Austria, so that's nice for him. Quick lap time, shorter track. Would you say the qualifying could be the most important? He said yes. So again, qualifying, even though it is raining, qualifying is probably very important right here because the DRS trains that we can see will become quite hard to break into if you're outside that DRS, as we've got a few yellow flags in the final sector. It's just drivers getting out the way. Also said, will he be better off in the rain? We have some rain. He said he likes the rain. So already Rageman is looking a little bit more confident against the other few drivers, but we don't know how they fare in the wet weather. And I think he just wants to score points again because he's just so confident in his ability. And I'll quickly do our hot and cold. And Yuri's not going to like this one because he is our cold driver. And is out of qualifying. Not to his nothing he could do about it this time, but he's quick, he has the pace, but he finished last week with a final lap spin and out the points. But we do think he will bounce back. Our hot driver is Lawrence in the AlphaTauri, currently sat on pole. He's snatched a podium last week, and he's much needed boost in his form. So we know he qualifies well, Lawrence does, and we know that he can perform in a race. So we'll see how this race goes, because this, again, we didn't see that. We saw the two championship rivals down the bottom end of the tables last week. So this could be another opportunity for the likes of Lawrence, Rageman, and anybody else in that field to grab themselves a win and a podium.
Yeah, on board with Lawrence. I think he's on a cool down. Don't think he's going for another fly, so we're going for another fly. It looks like it's... No, he's going into the pits. Tricky pit entry, by the way. There has been a warning to all drivers about entering the pits and how to do so correctly without A, impeding other drivers, and B, not causing crashes. Hello, Matt, in the chat. Welcome to see Yuri qualify. Oh, wait. As Quinn now sets the fastest time of the session with a 12.2 in that Williams. So I think he's just left it a little bit too late with this form as Quinn. He is not that consistent in the race. I think it was another DNF. Not his fault, though. I think last week his DNF in Silverstone, there was an overtake attempt through cops. We'd seen it done many times cleanly. This time he tried it on Giggle, and there was a little bit of contact, and he was spun into the wall. Whether there was a steward's inquiry submitted regarding that incident, we'll have to go through the steward's results later in this session. Soft tyres selected for Trunders, but he's still in the pit, so drying track on the way, but how long is it going to be before we start seeing those quicker lap times?
Yeah, Trunders in the pits, in his pit box, but has the soft tyres selected. It is still raining, but the rain is basically stopped, it's definitely stopping. It's going to be a few laps on Inters yet to get that dry line, and then the soft tyres will come into play in the last sort of 2-3 minutes of this session.
Okay, so I have just read the rules on pit entry for Austria. They've just thrown it all out the window, and because apparently if you slow down for the apex and try and stay within the white line as you would do in normal regulations of Formula 1, it's apparently considered dangerous. Yes, it can be, and yes, if drivers are bunched up, but if you move over to the left, they move over to the right hand side, as early as possible, not exactly trying to defend, but looks like you're going to pit. The driver behind should be well aware that you're going to be making a pit stop if you've moved over to the right hand side early. But the rule for this week for all tiers is that Slowing down before the corner could be potential dangerous to upcoming drivers. If a driver wants to pit, he can take the penultimate corner as usual and pit after the corner, though the driver still needs to be aware of drivers around him, as causing a collision is a real threat when trying to enter the pit lane. I think that's a little bit worse because the corner nature is for you to run wide, trying to take the corner at a normal racing speed. You're going to have to take it slower anyway if you want to enter the pit lane. So we'll have to keep an eye on how that materialises in the race, because during qualifying, I think pit entry is not going to be much of an issue. As MCFC, oh, that's an interesting line into the pit lane. Cut the corner on the penultimate corner on his run, and is one of 3 drivers yet to set a lap.
Yeah, just looking at Lawrence. Lawrence is was going to go for another one. He came out on his outlap on a fresh set of intermediates, but quickly dives back into the pit. So thinking he's not wet enough for these tyres anymore.
Yeah, I think the rain has stopped. Let's have a little look on board. Giggle. Yeah, no rain on the visor on the car. Only a little bit of spray coming off the tyres. It could be that crossover point now where it looks wet, but it's dry enough for the dry tyres. Now, what do people do strategy-wise on what to qualify on? Because if you're inside the top 10 and you start on a dry set of tyres and it's dry for the race, you will start on those tyres if you're new to Formula 1. Everyone outside the top 10 will start on fresh tyres, and with it being a mandatory 2-stop, I'm going to be expecting people to be doing soft, medium, soft, or medium, soft, soft. The soft tyres are a tyre that is quite durable around here, and the quickest tyre of all 3 compounds.
Colin
Giggle's
come back.
Giggle's coming to bits
out
as well.
Yeah, Colin come back out on a set of inters, and the first sector is pretty dry. You're going in a straight line for most of it, so that dry line does appear, but the third sector looks quite wet, and that's really the sector that you need most of the grip, the middle and the last sector. So it's going to be interesting to see anyone that comes out on softs if they'll start slipping and sliding, because it does get quite wet around the middle and final parts of the sector, but DRS is now enabled. So, a few drivers selecting the softs, no one out on dries. Aaron just going for it on some 6-lap old inter, so he's just setting lap after lap, which don't blame him. MCFC has medium selected, but again, nobody on the dry tyres. A few doing outlaps on inters, so Quinn as well. As quite as we do see our first soft runner out on track, and it's Lawrence.
Yeah,
he's taking that risk.
So risky. Me and my mute button should be kept far and far away, because I forget. Whenever I let you speak, I just want to mute so there's no background noise. And then when you stop talking, I'm like, oh, it's time for my turn. And I don't press the mute button. And I just start blabbering to myself. And then you just start talking. I'm like, hang on a minute. And then I realise that I've been muted. Gazaman on pole. What? Yeah, he's on pole at the moment. But the times are going to start tumbling down with these soft tyres. And as Risky mentioned, Lawrence is going to be the first one to set a flyer. It's going to be a little bit tricky because the track's cold and it can be a little bit slippery. Curbs around here, as proven in a little league race that I competed in on Wednesday, is a little bit dangerous. And let's ride on board with Lawrence for this first fly lap in the dry. Nice early apex at turn 1. Then up towards turn 2 and 3. This little kink is classed as turn 2. We're going to keep it as turn 2. As you run up the hill towards turn 3, right-hander, third gear should be the preference. Second for Lawrence. Got on the power nice and early. Use the camber of the corner to get the rotation through. Now the second, or essentially third DRS straight on the track, down towards turn 4. Late apex again. Try and carry the speed through as you run through towards the trickiest section of the track. 5, 6 and 7 as you end the second sector. Keeps it within the white lines. Running wide there can be an invalidation, and this section of corners here can be really tricky. The curb on the right hand side as you run down towards the final 2 corners can be really tricky on traction. Through the penultimate corner, doesn't run too wide, doesn't want to carry a lot of speed. Up to the line, this is going to be our first dry time, keeping it within the limits. Not the quickest, but it's a 1:08.2.
Yeah, and you could just tell there's a little bit of water on the track still. The back end wanting to step out on him to the point where he's overdriving the car into the corner just so he doesn't have that lack of grip and just kind of needs to keep the tyres warm. He might go for another lap straight away because in these conditions a second lap straight away with the warmer tyres might be a good idea. But Quinn, by the way, did his 11.5 on a set of inters, so the track was a bit wet, but Rageman now 7.9 on some fresh soft, so the lap times are about to get very quick, very fast.
Yeah, track's just going to keep improving. But with it being drier, people are going to be pushing the boundaries for track limits. And what I'm seeing a lot of is a lot of red maps as I go on people. Rageman is red again. Well, probably don't want to go for another lap. I noticed Gazzaman had a little spin out of the penultimate corner, went straight back into the pits. So I think he was trying to start a flyer. And he hasn't set a time on softs. Mason and the McLaren's giving a little bit of a tow to the Alpha Tower behind of Lawrence 7. Both McLarens in the top 6, Hooky third. So these times are just going to start tumbling and tumbling and tumbling. Speedway is invalid, so he's going to have to do another run. Giggle has already done a lap, but was invalidated on this lap. He's coming through the final sector, and there again, that corner, that curb, can be really tricky. You want to attack it, but he's invalidated yet again, and will only probably get one run on a fresh set of softs at the end. Kington, slowest time on the board at the moment on the intermediates, is yet to set a time as well on the dry compounder tyres through the penultimate and the final corner for the Williams driver. Never mind, he comes into the pits.
Yeah, I think a lot of these drivers are going to be waiting to that very, very last minute of the session. Like, you can probably leave the pits at about 1:30 and just have enough time to cross the line if you do a relatively fast outlap. You just got to time it perfect, because the last driver that starts a lap will more than likely be the driver that sits on pole unless the track ramps up rapidly soon.
Yeah, I think pole position could be anyone's, because the times are just getting faster and faster. The window the soft tyre window that we're looking for is about 1:04. I'd like to see people doing high 1:04s. Would be the pinnacle point for qualifying if it was completely dry. I think maybe even the high 1:03, but that is if it was completely dry. The rubber could get laid down, track evolution as well. But with there being rain, it's washed away all the rubber, and this is where people are going to be finding more time, as it's a Ferrari 1.3 at the moment. Good times for them.
Yeah, it's something we've not seen this season. The Ferraris fighting at the very top. We've seen them fight a little bit towards the podium places, but fighting at the top is a rarity. But again, this race could be anyone's, especially with the qualifying the way it is. We'll see the qualifying order in 1:49, but here come most of the drivers then for their outlaps, for their final laps.
Quinn is on a flyer. A lot of people are on out, but Quinn is on mediums. He hasn't set a time on the dry compound yet, as Speedway goes even quicker than his teammate, 1:05.8, but those tyres are 3 laps old, and if it's a dry start, and what it looks to be, if Quinn's going to start on mediums, it's looking to be a dry start. Those tyres are going to be quite worn, but with it being a 2-stop mandatory strategy, pitting early isn't really going to be an issue, as there's yellow flag for a Red Bull at the exit of turn 3. Who be that? Do that be Gazzaman? That do be Gazzaman. Again, not getting heat into those tyres, and currently in 9th, but ahead of his championship rival of Aaron, who both yet to set a time on the dries. Quinn across the line, a 1:04.9. That's the time we were looking for, but it's on the medium tyre, so the track's just getting quicker and quicker, and he managed to get a valid time in and will look to be starting on those medium tyres. How long have we got left in the session? 38 seconds. Can we catch people on laps? Giggles flying in the first sector, 1.5 seconds on his previous best already, and looking to get inside the top 10 on soft tyres. Jake's got medium selected, but will not be going out for another run, and will start in what's the word? The better pole position. I can't remember the terminology for 11th place on the grid, because you've got the best tyres of everyone, and you're ahead of everyone behind you who are also on fresh tyres.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to be.
So qualifying has ended for Jake, Kingdon and O'Sully. Colin sets pole position with a 104.5 on the soft tyres. So that's the target now for his teammate, championship leader Aaron, who we're on board with as Speed Quinn doesn't improve. Kingdon
Giggle popped himself up to 4th. Kingdon in 3rd.
I thought Kingdon had finished. To be honest, there was a checkered flag next to his aim from what I could see, but Kingdon up to 3rd, Giggle 4th. What can our championship leader do as he rounds the penultimate corner? Doesn't want to run wide at either of these exits up to the line. Will this be pole position? It is by a 104.4, and it's a Mercedes 1-2 at the moment as Gazaman sorts himself in between the 2 Mercedes and 2 Williams, but Lawrence from out of nowhere, 104.2 in that AlphaTauri, and as we mentioned, it could be last dash across the line to snatch pole position. What can Trunders do? He goes 4th, and the Haas behind him of, I think that might have been Rage Man, it was, is in 13th with a 107.9, and there's qualifying for you.
Yeah, so a good session overall, like we said at the start for Lawrence, and the 2 Mercedes proving that they've got the pace. Aaron back up there where he wants to be. Gazaman in 5th, so not ideal being behind your championship rival, but again, he's got his teammate ahead, and then there's the Mercedes, so it's going to be a Red Bull Mercedes fight this race with Lawrence maybe out in front. There's maybe a bit of a roadblock, but we know Lawrence can be quick, so maybe Lawrence will be the one that pulls away in the race.
Could be. And he managed to put fresh tyres on, so he will be in a decent position from the front. So there's your qualifying. And I wouldn't have probably predicted Lawrence, even though he is our hot driver of the week. So Lawrence on the front row, joined by our championship leader of Aaron in the Mercedes. 1.5 tenths separated those two. Quite close here in Austria. The second Mercedes of Colin is ahead of Trunders on the second row, with Gazaman and Quinn lining up the third row. Watch out for Quinn, he's going to be on medium tyres, with ahead of his teammate Kingdon in 7th. And it's Hooky, Giggle and Speedway round out your top 10. Ferrari falling away, even though they set the pace early on, are now 10th and 11th. Mason, Rageman, Jake are the top 4, inside the top 14. Jake's didn't set a time on the dries. Liam and Yuri, and there was one more who didn't set a time. Yuri had an incident into his conditions where he wasn't able to set a time anyway, and I think did Liam crash or have a qualifying? He might have crashed as well.
Liam spun into Yuri. Remember, Yuri was coming out the pits. Liam spun into Yuri, and Liam did not compete in the rest of the session.
Ah, okay.
Which I don't know if that's out of sportsmanship or anything.
Could be. Fair play to him if it is.
Yeah, fair play to him for doing that.
So as I mentioned, Quinn to watch out for. He's on the medium compound tyre. The only one inside the top 10 to qualify on them. And he's starting in a really good position. However, he's going to have to keep his nose clean into turn 1 to try and avoid running the medium compound driver again. Liam is the sort of driver who either crashes or wins first place, hardly any in between. Needs to find some consistency then, does Liam? If that's what you think his driving style is like. It's either win or bust for him. It used to be that for me. I used to be really annoyed about not getting any wins. We have formation lap, so we can run through tyre compounds of everyone outside the top 10, which are Sully, Mason, Rageman, Jake, Liam, Yuri, and it was Yuri's teammate of NSR MCFC who failed to set a time on either compound of tyre, failing to keep it within track limits, and starts dead last. So mediums for Sully, Rageman, Liam, Yuri, and MCFC. Aggressive strategy for Mason's or softs. Mason and Jake, aggressive for them on the soft tyres, even though Jake did have medium selected in the pits when he could have gone out on dry tyres. So maybe he just wants to be aggressive at the start because he's starting so far back. A lot of teams are quite unison. So you've got the two Mercedes next to each other. You've got the two Red Bull, two Williams, two Ferrari, two Alpine, and Alfa Romeo next to each other.
Yeah, so this is going to be an interesting race. Quinn in 6th on the mediums, going to be looking to go a little bit longer. Maybe medium, medium soft, or even medium soft, soft. Because softs can be run twice in this race. It is a 2-stop run, so they have to make 2 stops. We'll see what the likes of Mason and Jake can do on their fresher softs. Jake has joined, so hopefully he gets back in his car. That'd be nice for us. I think he has done. Not yet, but we'll see anyway, as the drivers come to land up on the grid. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Watch the start. Watch for the Mercedes on the back of the AlphaTauri. Maybe Aaron trying to jump Lawrence. Watch for Gazzaman as well, because he is one to get a decent start too.
Yeah, and we've got to keep an eye on the run into turn 3, because even if there's no moves into turn 1, it's such a long straight with the benefit of slipstream and people are going to be pumping overtake. We could see some drama into turn 1 and 3 as we wait for everyone to line up on the grid and the 5 red lights to come on our screen as someone's already gone. Wait a minute, what did you see that, Risky?
I saw that, yeah, it was Jake's ghost car.
It's lights out and away we go here in Austria for round 8 here in One Hub. Decent start from Trunders as it makes the look at 3 wide into turn 1, but Aaron takes the lead and there's contact further behind between Lawrence and that Red Bull of Trunders. Notice as well we've got a special livery on the Red Bull here, and will there be a safety car for that spun Red Bull? There won't. Side by side between Lawrence and Aaron, and Lawrence retakes the lead into turn 3. Further back, Collins held on to P3, but Kingdon, crucially, on those soft tyres, has got ahead of his teammate Quinn and is looking to attack Colin down towards turn 4. Side by side between the two. Colin would have the inside. Kingdon's going to try and go for the switchback to get the better exit as they run through this tricky section of corners. Kingdon's going to go for the inside into turn 5 and 6 and gets the position in the 88 and up to 3rd place. However, is going to have to try and get back into that DRS window of the leaders ahead, because DRS is going to be so crucial about where you're going to finish here in Austria, because there's 3 DRS straights all after each other as Kingdon goes a little bit defensive into the Bournemouth corner, as Yuri's made an excellent start as well as his teammate up to 12th and 13th on those medium tyres. As we end lap 1, it's Lawrence from Aaron, Kingdon, Colin, Quinn, Gazzaman, Giggle, Hooky, Sully and Rageman are your top 10. As people trying to go side by side. Kingdon runs wide out of turn 1 but holds on to the position. Could have got a track limit warning for that. 3 of those and you get 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, now we're going to see Giggle down the inside of Gazzaman. Not going to help Gazzaman, but he's run a little bit deep, hit into the side pod of Quinn, so that's not going to help Quinn. And then there goes Gazzaman, and now comes Hooky on Giggle as well. He's going to look to go around the outside, but look at the run the Haas car has got of Giggle. He's going to look back down the inside of Gazzaman, but can't quite make that stick. And because of that entry he's now going to have Hooky down the inside at turn 5. Going to keep it side by side. Got very, very close there. He's still on your outside. The push a little bit wide there, causing Giggle to get that penalty. But Hooky, nice move into P7 as Speedway dropped down the order as he spun at turn 5. Yeah, a little bit of battling for the other Haas driver behind as well. Rageman has lost a few positions. Yuri now back ahead of his teammates. They're 10th and 11th. Yuri back now inside the top 10 on those medium tyres as well. O'Sully's had a good start on mediums. He's inside the top 10. Up next are the soft runners of Giggle and Hooky. I'm not sure whether Giggle got any damage after making contact with Quinn into turn 3, but it doesn't look like it's going to have affected him too much. However, Quinn now is starting a DRS train. What have you seen, Risky? It's contact between the front two. It was Aaron on the inside, Lawrence on the outside, and Aaron couldn't quite stop the car in time into the back of the AlphaTauri. He's going to go around the outside here into turn 4, but is he going to run too deep or will he get it stuck? He does get it stuck, and so Aaron now into the lead, but could have potential minor front wing damage, which I will be checking on TAS ASAP. Yeah, we might have had another spinner. Mason Jr.'s lost a lot of time. He's now behind Trunders, who spun on turn 1 as Liam gets through on Rageman now. As Rageman seems to be lagging a little bit. Is Rageman in the lobby? I don't think he is. Lobby.
Yeah, I think he's Ghost Car. So That's going to be unfortunate for that Haas. It's going to be an easy picking to everyone else as Aaron sets the fastest lap. However, he's not going to be made easy to hang on to this lead as Aaron now sets fastest lap. Pushing and bringing Quinn. Well, Quinn's got overtaken by Gazaman, but that's quite sensible from Quinn because he's on a different tyre compound. And what you should do now is just let the drivers on faster tyres go through, and you can use the benefit of DRS. Yuri, however, putting up a fight into turn 3 and keeps the position on Giggle and is up to 8th place. Great start from Yuri from the back of the grid, already making up positions left, right and centre and hounding in on the guys ahead, and Quinn's going to be his target because they're both on the same strategy, and that's going to be a driver he's going to be looking to pounce on if his tyre strategy comes into play at the end if there's no safety cars, as Lawrence has already picked up a 3-second time penalty as well.
Oh, it's a spin for Gazaman. That's Gazaman out. Sorry to cut you off there, Pete, but he just hit that right-hand curb and you could see he was going. He's in the middle of the track, and that is Gazaman's championship hopes. Well, not exactly squashed, but they're pretty slim now because Gazaman will not pick up any points in this race. We'll have to see where Aaron finishes to determine what happens, and it is a safety car for the amount of debris on track.
That's all right. Yeah, you can interrupt me, Risky, because I was on board with Gazaman there, and he disappeared out of shot, and then the next minute he was sideways in the middle of the track. Did he hit the wall, or did someone collect him?
He hit the wall. He bounced off the right-hand side wall into the middle of the track and lost a wheel. So, unfortunate there for Gazaman. And honestly, it's just one of those things at Austria. You said yourself the curbs are dangerous, and that's exactly what happened there.
This is going to be interesting now for strategy because everyone inside the top 14 hasn't pit. This brings Trunders back into it. He's on fresh tyres. Speedway gets back to it. He'll be on fresh tyres. They've already made one stop each. Everyone ahead, I think if anyone's on softs, maybe would be pitting now. It's interesting to see if anyone is going to pit because the line into the pit lane is not what it's supposed to be. But into the pits go the leaders. Kingdon follows. Colin stays out, doesn't want to double stack. Quinn is in as well, so he's going to risk double stacking for him. I personally think 2 soft tyres could go to the end because from the data we have, the soft tyres, the C5 compound, can do 16 laps. 2 lots of that is 32. Quick maths. So he should go on to 2 sets of softs to the end. No reason to be touching the mediums, and will be fastest tyre to the end. Soft tyres right now for Quinn. If there's another safety car, maybe he could take advantage and pit onto the mediums again, but now that he's used 2 different tyre compounds, he should be set for the end of this race. O'Sully, Jake and Rageman. I think Rageman Ghost car will probably want to pit anyway. So O'Sully and Jake decided not to pit. Interesting considering it's a mandatory 2-stop, and when you can pit under safety car, you don't lose any time really. You may lose a few positions, but you're not going to lose any time by pitting under safety car. If anything, you're getting an advantage out of it, and that's what Aaron, Lawrence, Kingdon, Yuri's made some positions in that pit stop with the kerfuffle. He's now sat in a net P4 after starting at the back of the grid. He's got ahead of Hooky. Quinn had to be held in the pits due to the double stack. Trunders and Giggle. Trunders made a few positions, even with his spin. MCFC's now got 3 cars between himself and his teammate. Giggle down the order as well. And O'Sully now decides to pit. Maybe a little bit late, but he should come out ahead of his teammate maybe. It's interesting to see Ferrari so far down the pit lane, considering they used to be towards Mercedes, like the 2nd or 3rd pit box.
Interesting then that obviously Rageman wouldn't have picked because he's AI, unfortunately, but Jake and Colin both staying out. Colin on the soft, so not risking the double stack, taking the track position, hoping another safety car will come out. We do tend to see a few safety cars as Liam is making his 2nd stop onto hards. We've seen him do this in a few races. He'll come out near the top towards the end of the race, so that could be a really good strategy for him. But yeah, interesting that Colin is still on the soft tyres and not made a stop.
Yeah, Liam going... Did he do this last week? I know someone did the 2 stops really early and went on to hard tyres, and because of this safety car and there being no more safety cars, you gain a lot of time on the drivers. Even though the drivers are ahead of you, you gain a lot of time on them because you're not having to make an extra stop. 26 laps expected life of the hard tyres, so they will comfortably, or should comfortably, go to the end. There is 29 laps left, but I'm sure those hards will be fine to the end. Mediums can do 21, and as we mentioned, 16 for the softs. 19 seconds in the pit lane, so the 3 drivers that didn't pit are going to have to suffer that 19-second pit stop if there's no more safety cars. We're going to get ready underway. Colin's going to lead the field. When is he going to go? Oh, I thought he'd gone then. I really thought he'd gone. But he should leave it to as late as possible because there's going to be a lot of slipstream and there's going to be a lot of overtaking. As Aaron has gotten by the Haas of Rageman, so's Lawrence, but it's going to go side by side as Kingdom wants to get involved on those medium tyres. He's got ahead of Aaron. It's Lawrence from Aaron, who's lost the lead, is now losing position to Rageman as they go side by side. And
Yuri ahead of Aaron as well.
Aaron's had an absolute mare. That ghost car of Rageman's not really helping him, and there's a little bit of contact between Hooky and Aaron there, and Hooky losing out the most. Quinn now trying to fight back those positions after the double stack on those soft tyres to the end. Yuri doing the same strategy, and Yuri's going to be really aggressive. He's going to be on the fastest tyres of everyone at this current stage in the Grand Prix, other than O'Sully, who's going to have 1 lap fresher, but he's further down the order.
Yeah, a bit of argy-bargy in the background as well. That ghost car, like you say, of Rageman, not really helping. Is Giggle and Hooky were side by side, not anymore. Mason not having the best of restarts. Liam and Speedway all kind of dropping back a little bit, but they're not too far off the pace. So the Haas cars swap places, but everyone then following in a line. But it's allowing Colin to pull away that little bit more. Jake on the mediums, Colin on those slightly worn softs. We'll see if there's any moves to turn 3. No DRS available as of yet because we've only just got back underway here on lap 9. So we'll get that back in a few laps. No one making any dives. Maybe Yuri looking on the back of Keenjan, but turn 4 is then where we're going to see, yeah, because Yuri did get the exit on Keenjan. He's going to look to the outside as we have a yellow flag in the background. That's a Ferrari, but Yuri does go around the outside. Keenjan's going to brake a little bit later. Goes a little bit deep. Yuri's going to make the switch back. He's going to be on the outside for turn 5, where he's not really where you want to be if you're making an overtake. Keenjan's back around the outside, but Yuri's got the grip on those fresh softs, and like you said, fastest man on the track. Hopefully could keep that position, but we can't see him yet. There we see into shot they come. Makes a little bit of contact side by side. Still there, but is going to hopefully get this move done. Keenjan still around the outside, not going to look for it just yet, as Colin now dives into the pits, I think that was.
Yuri picks up his first time penalty. Yeah, Colin in the pits, off those soft tyres. Yuri now in a really good position, strong position. Net P2 and the net leader of Lawrence has got ahead of Jake as well. DRS is enabled, and this is what Yuri is going to use to try and get into the lead. That was a really late opening from Jake on the DRS. The only driver out of everyone. It's a late lunge. I think he went defensive from Yuri, but those soft tyres are really, really working for him because he's getting the exit on everyone on those medium tyres. Now the run down towards turn 4. He tried to go around the outside. He's going to have to go around the outside again. Kingjan's trying to get involved, and Yuri's going to have to go the long way around turn 5. And now into turn 6 and 7. Yuri's now in net P2 and has got to start hunting down Lawrence and make the most of these soft tyres.
Yeah, I think Keenjan just outbroke himself a little bit into 4. Just tapped Yuri slightly, and that helped Yuri get past, but also helped Keenjan get past. So Keenjan on those mediums picks up a penalty, helped Yuri a little bit along, also got past himself. Aaron is now going to be looking to line up Jake for a move. Probably won't do it to turn 1, but we do have Trunders and Quinn looking to go side by side. Trunders maybe looking down the inside at turn 1. Thinks better of it because he knows there's a big long straight coming up, so get the exit if you can. We're going to see Aaron, like I said, get by Jake. He moves to the inside. It's technically the outside for turn 2, but it becomes the inside for turn 3. Under braking, the Alpine's going to try around the outside of the Mercedes. Not quite going to have the traction that Aaron does in that Merc. And off goes Aaron. Jake now has to be careful. He's got Quinn looking behind him. Not going to be close enough on this occasion, but Definitely trying, and all of that happening. I think we had another spin from Speedway in the pits as well. So Sully gets past Giggle in quite an easy move, so there might be a bit of wing damage for Giggle because he is struggling.
He is really struggling. Maybe overheated tyres, but when there's understeer like that, it tends to be wing damage, especially in that middle sector where you need the downforce. The rest of the track, you don't really need the downforce. Speed Quinn is side by side with Jake through the penultimate corner. They're still side by side as they go through the final corner. Jake had to hold the outside, and Quinn not giving him much space. And I think Jake has not only lost the position to Quinn, but because of that run, has lost the position to the Red Bull of Trunders. Trunders now looking for a move on Quinn into turn one, but that exit from Trunders late on the brakes has really cost him an opportunity to try and overtake Quinn. But the slipstream and the DRS start kicking in as they head up the hill towards turn three. Is there going to be a late lunge from Trunders? Jake deciding where to brake and put his car because he's got MCFC behind him and gets a fantastic exit on those soft tyres and through on Jake as well.
Yeah, these guys squabbling for position just allows those ahead to pull away. Aaron has a 1.8 second gap and he's on the back of Kingdred, who's on the back of Yuri, who's on the back of Lawrence. So this is a four-way battle for that top spot. For now, net leader is technically still Liam because he has made those two stops, but on those hard tyres, if these guys pull away, then this is the battle for the lead. And when we saw Giggle pit, by the way, he did have damage on his front wing, so that's why he made that pit stop, because Jake pits as well.
So Jake just got a 3-second time penalty for corner cut in there. Whether that was from his pit entry or whether it was for the corner as Yuri picks up his second time penalty of the race, that's not going to help him with fighting for the victory, where the fastest man at the moment, Aaron, has got none. As Trunders gets by Quinn with the benefit of DRS, and Quinn now will either have to use the pace of Trunders to pull him along, because if they keep squabbling, they're not going to catch up. And I realised this racing around here as well, battling with someone, I thought I could catch up, but realistically, if you let someone else through and you harvest your energy, you use the benefit of DRS, maybe you can catch back up, because these guys at the front are going to start squabbling. As Kingdon's made a mistake, Aaron's going to have to go around the outside of the penultimate corner, side by side. Will Kingdon give him the space? Aaron doesn't really want to risk it and backs out of it. Will get the benefit of DRS. Kingdon runs wide through the exit of the final penultimate corner and wide out of the penultimate corner. Surprised he hasn't got a penalty. But Aaron is going to have a look at the inside towards turn one. You don't really want to be making an overtake there because it hinders your run up the hill towards turn three. Now, benefit of DRS. No DRS for Kingdon because he was out of the window into turn one. Aaron sweeps to the inside and gets the move done before the braking zone, and he's now up into P3 as he now has a penalty. Oh, a little bit of contact between Kingdon as his teammate Speed Quinn's going side by side with Trunders. Which one of them's got DRS? None of them look like they've got DRS unless there's a glitch, but Trunders and Kingdon side by side. Kingdon breaks late, tries to force Trunders off the track like Hamilton Albon-esque, and that invites MCFC to take the position from Trunders on those medium tyres.
Yeah, so really well played there by MCFC. He just waited, bided his time. He could see the Williams and the Red Bull were fighting. As Hookie's now going to get past Trunders because Trunders made a bit of a mistake. They are going to go side by side into the penultimate corner of turn 9. Yeah, Hookie's going to make that one stick. So yeah, MCFC on those soft tyres doing really well. He's now going to have Quinn to maybe line up and go for an overtake. Depends because he's got to just be careful of Hookie, who's got pace behind him as well as they go through the first corner. Who gets the better exit here? The soft tyre runner of MCFC has that DRS. ERS is obviously deployed down the inside. It's technically the outside, but inside for turn 3 once again. Breaks nice and late, gets the move stuck. As Hookie had a little look on Quinn and a bit of front to rear action going on there, but nothing race ending like we have seen prior. No moves really into turn 4. Everyone's sort of sticking back. Sully starting to close into this battle as well, so his softs working nicely. It's the medium tyre runners that are starting to struggle a little bit in this phase of the race.
Yeah, the soft tyres still seem to be the best compound as the Haas driver switch places. I believe that's Google getting through on his ghost teammate of Rageman. Noticing the leaders, however, have pulled away from the rest of the pack, with Aaron and Kingdom battling, and Kingdom falling a long way off this battle. Unless Kingdom's got damage, is now in the grasps of MCFC. Yellow flag for, I believe, a Alpine. Is that Jake? That is Jake.
Yes. It's Yuri, sorry, Pete. I'm going to cut across you again. It's down the inside of Lawrence at turn 3. Couldn't quite get the boost stick, but he just was coming and coming, and the overspeed that he had was just insane. And you just thought maybe he had a chance. He's now getting out of the dirty air, so Yuri's sticking back behind Lawrence, but just expect a move to come there as Hooky and Quinn side by side, and Hooky will get that move done.
Yeah, he's making them medium tyres work, is Hooky. Quinn not really making the ground that you'd expect him to do on those soft tyres. You'd think at the safety car restart the soft tyres would have been a lot quicker than the mediums, but because both tyres are quite durable, the difference between the two compounds isn't that significant. Only less than half a second on the delta separates these two. So that window, that working window between the two tyres, when the softs start wearing off and the mediums start coming into their own, it's going to be a lot quicker. Kingdom's going defensive down towards turn 1. As he's got a little bit of a train forming behind him. Kingdom runs wide, but this is going to invite the Alfa Romeo of MCFC to go for a move with the benefit of DRS. He's going to round the outside of turn 2, but will turn to the inside for turn 3. Late under the brakes, checks his mirrors to see if Kingdom's still there. Kingdom getting the clerk treatment off the track and moves down to 5th, but has got DRS to fight back in towards turn 4. Kingdom's going to have to inside. MCFC tried to cover it off and defend, but may get the switch back and hold on to the position. They're still going to go side by side as they go through turn 6. This is where I think Yuri got the move done on Kingdom around the outside, and the other Alfa Romeo does exactly the same, and up to P4.
Yeah, good move again from FCFC around the outside of turn 5. Something the drivers maybe weren't expected to make overtakes, but have been doing that. Kingdom under a lot of pressure from Hooky behind, so Kingdom got to watch his mirrors, but Hooky's also got to watch for Quinn in case Quinn has a little luck. But it'll be turn 3 or maybe turn 4 that we'll see these guys swap positions yet again.
I will just keep an eye at the leaders as well. Yuri had fallen out of that 1 second window, and Aaron had managed to close the gap down to Yuri, but Yuri's got that gap within the 1 second and going to get a bit DRS again, and that's really going to help Yuri stay in this fight, because as soon as you lose DRS and you can't get back into it and the driver behind her has DRS, you're going to start losing that position, and if you start battling, you start losing time. So Yuri doing well to hold on to P2 at the moment. That extra time penalty is going to hurt a little bit, but we're only halfway through the race, and there's possibility for any of the drivers to get... Oh, Lawrence is round!
Lawrence, yeah.
Oi, it's a good job there's ghosting, otherwise that could have been an airplane crash. However, the sister team having trouble on that curb as well as the Red Bulls. I told you that curb was dangerous, because I've done it myself. I've done it myself too many times. And Lawrence now was leading, with the grid being so close, is now down to 10th, and that gives Yuri the net race lead. However, he's not going to get any DRS because there's no one ahead going to be giving him any slipstream, any DRS, and that's going to invite Aaron to take the lead of this race. There is a Ferrari of Speedway up ahead that could be giving him DRS, but I think Yuri is a little bit out of it at the moment. Will Aaron go for a lunge at the inside? Tries the outside. Yuri goes defensive, puts his car in the middle of the track, so basically saying, which way do you want to go? Because if you go to the inside, you're going to go on the grass. If you go to the outside, you're going to go on the grass.
Yeah, and just in saying that, the Williams of Kingdom just hit the back of Speed Quinn. I thought it was going to be a bigger accident than just a little bit of a tap, but I think Kingdom has given himself some wing damage.
Yuri spun.
Is that Yuri spun in the gravel?
Oh, there's a McLaren round as well at the same corner. Like in tandem, these two. It's a little bit but like me and another driver. I'd spun at that corner, and I've got a driver behind me coming, catching up, trying to overtake me, and he does exactly the same. This promotes a lot of drivers up the field. Quinn now into 3rd because of the spins behind. Quinn now back in it. O'Sully is swapping positions with Liam side by side. Liam gets the position and is already made 2 stops up to 5th. and not far off the lead. Yuri speeds the pit lane as matters get worse for him. He's going to be going to the end. Should be able to go into another set of softs, but won't be serving that 5 second, and that will go all the way to the checkered flag.
Yeah, someone that's doing really well on those hard tyres is the Alpine of Liam. He's got 24% tyre wear, and we're over halfway through this race, so he's up in 6th, fighting with the Ferrari. Maybe put himself in probably one of the better positions to be in, because he's only 7... Okay, he's not 7 seconds, that's my fault. He's about 10 seconds behind the leader, who's going to have to put on another set of tyres and hunt him down. So don't be surprised if we see Liam up on the podium at some point today.
Yeah, and those hard tyres could be coming into that window. They're only halfway through worn, or not even halfway through, as you mentioned, 25%. But when you start hitting 50%, it can get a little bit worse, as Energia MCFC, or NSR MCFC, is in the pits.
Yeah, so that would be for his final stop onto another set of softs, trying to get the undercut on the guys in front.
Little note as well, TAS being very crucial here. O'Sully, who I'm watching on board, battling Liam now as Liam goes up the inside into turn 3, sort of forces O'Sully off the track to get that penalty. Has a little bit of wing damage, 5% on that front left wing plate. Is going to start causing a little bit of damage, and understeer as he goes for a late move up the inside into turn 4. Got the DRS benefit, but no move for him, and and Liam now up to 4th net race leader. But those tyres are going to start struggling at the end of the Grand Prix where everyone's on fresh. Worst tyres of everyone is Speed Quinn, 54 and 52 on those fronts. So he's really been hounding those front tyres on this soft stint, and should be making a pit stop right now as he is.
Yeah, so maybe he can get a bit of an undercut on the front two, but Trunder's in 2nd and Aaron in 3rd have a very, very big gap. So it's going to be difficult to get past these two. And I said, look, Liam will be on that podium somewhere, and he's currently sat in 3rd with Colin behind, who has only made 1 stop. So MCFC at the minute is the closest to Liam in terms of rivals to go to the end.
MCFC is in a really good position here, because he's in P6, but he's made that extra stop. He was really far down the order, but because of the calamities that's happened, he is now sitting in a net P2 with only being 22 seconds off the lead. It's a 19-second pit window, but that's a clean pit stop. And the undercut's going to start coming out for this Alfa Romeo driver. He will get Trunders, but I'm not sure whether he'll get Aaron in the process, as Trunders looks to be making his final pit stop.
Yeah, so that's going to see where Trunders come out will give us a very good sort of vision of MCFC in his position. MCFC around the final corner. Trunders just being serviced and released. So will MCFC get out ahead? Very much so. Trunders
so far
just
clear.
trundling down the pit lane. Excuse the pun.
Yeah, as you do.
And Quinn and Lawrence will get past him, but now Trunders is going to have some very fresh tyres to go and fight with. But MCFC in a good position for now.
Lawrence is, even though that spin from Lawrence is not quite out of it just yet. He did make an earlier pit stop compared to the guys ahead of him of MCFC and Quinn, but Quinn's going to get put under pressure now because the DRS and slipstream is just so potent and powerful that he could get through in the blink of an eye. But I feel like Lawrence should hold back here and just use the pace advantage that Quinn's going to have on those soft tyres to drag him back into this fight. Yes, they both have the same number of penalties, so they will be fighting for track position, but Lawrence is going to have the fresher tyres come the end of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, so this race could really go to the very, very end. I think Liam's in with the very, very good shout. He does have a 3-second penalty, which MCFC does not, and that no penalties for MCFC might help significantly in the fight. We just need, once everybody's made those 2 stops, that's our mandatory, and it starts to even out as MCFC down the inside of Mason into turn 3. Nice and easy overtakes, so Mason's tyres are 17 laps old, and he's yet to make that final stop.
Trunders made a move on the sister team of Lawrence. Gill getting by Jake as well. Jake on 10 lap odd softs. So Trunders now up to 7th. Fresher tyres compared to Quinn, having done essentially the overcut. But has gotten ahead of Lawrence, crucially as well, because you don't want to be stuck behind a driver who's on slower tyres. But I think Lawrence has really been going ham on those tyres. He only had them on for 3 laps, and they're already on 12%. But then again, Mason's been on his tyre, and Mason's been on his tyres for 17 laps, and they're only on 26% on the fronts.
Yeah, so tyre wear different for different people. Just I suppose how badly you push the tyres is Colin and Mason both come in now. So the only driver left to make that extra stop then in the top 10 is our leader of Aaron, who is going to come out when he does pit around 3rd, maybe 4th. So he needs to pit relatively soon, but he knows he's going to have the freshest of fresh tyres as Trunders get past Quinn, because Quinn made a little bit of a mistake. So these two are going to be fighting all the way to the end of this race, I feel like. Even though Trunders has the fresher tyres, Quinn is not going to want to let him go that easily.
But as I mentioned towards the start of the race, the more you battle, the more time you lose to the drivers ahead. And this is where, even though you're not teammates, just working together can drag you closer. Aaron's in the pits. First pit box for the Mercedes, and has the longer run down the pit lane. Liam way clear, but that difference in tyre compound and age is going to be significant to the end. Can MCFC get him through turn 1? Going to carry a little bit more speed. However, Aaron has got the jump on the Alfa Romeo as Yuri picks up his 3rd 3-second time penalty, I believe, down in 9th place. Good overcut from Aaron, not the undercut MCFC would have wanted, but because those tyres are in an optimal working window compared to what Aaron's are, yes, it won't take as long to get them back up there. This is going to be crucial now for MCFC. Will he fight it, knowingly that he has no time penalties? Or does he try and just get the move done on track and hunt down Liam, as they're both going to be doing significantly for the rest of this race?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I feel like you said earlier about working together, these two need to work together, because if they do continue to battle for the next 10 laps, then it's going to put Liam in a very nice position. But again, the penalty situation is an interesting one, because MCFC then technically will be in the box seat to win this race if he doesn't get any penalties.
Trunders is in a good position as well, unless Aaron can start pulling that gap away, because Trunders is within, well, he was within, he's now not within, that 3-second time penalty window of Aaron, and could snatch P2, depending on how hard Liam's going to fight this. I think he'd probably fight it to the end, because you're fighting for a win here. You've taken the opportunity to pit under safety car and get your 2 stops out of the way, and you've been given the race lead. Yellow flag, sector 2. I think it's been cleared quite quickly. That is Yuri and Colin going side by side. Unless that was for someone else in that sector.
I'm not sure.
Oh, that's a penalty for MCFC.
The MCFC penalty. It's almost as if we jinxed him to get it.
To be fair, I'd give anyone who doesn't get a penalty around this track a round of applause. I've only ever done it once. Aaron's flying now with the fastest lap, 105.6 for him. And there's starting to pull out of that 1-second window of MCFC. Will MCFC get DRS? He doesn't. That's going to be crucial now, because he's not going to get DRS on this straight either, on the run down towards turn 4, and he's got no battery to be trying to close in on. So this is the pinpoint of the race, where Aaron's got the gap to the drivers behind who don't have penalties. It is only Trunders now, but crucially closing in on Liam for the victory.
Yeah, so it's going to go down to the last few laps, I think, maybe between MCFC and Aaron. It just depends if MCFC's got that pace, but the fresh tyres from Aaron, he's played this pretty well, and he's going to go pretty far, if not to the end. So Well, he will definitely go to the end, but I think he's going to continue to extend the gap. It depends how badly Liam wants this win, and if Liam can fight it enough. He's got 6 seconds of penalties as is, so 7 laps, we'll see what happens. I don't think Liam will stay on the podium, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, these tyres are a little bit worse for wear. Here comes Aaron then. He's going to have the inside for turn 2, but it's going to be the outside and clearly through to turn 3. Takes the race lead and looks set to be getting yet another victory. And this... Oh, Kington's out. Safety car.
It's a full course safety car.
So what happened to Kington? We'll go on board with Jake.
Last corner.
Yeah, last corner.
Left-hand side, if you look on board with the apex. Oh, Jake's gone into the pits.
Yeah.
He must have hit the apex and hit the wall on that left-hand side, sorry, so out for Kingdom. But Jake's going to go into the pits and put some fresh tyres on. So that'd be good for him. Good for anyone, really, that dropped down the order. Yuri brings Yuri back into this.
Yeah. If I was Speedway, box, because even though you're going to be a lap down, it's nice to be on the freshest tyres. Liam pits, quite smart. So you don't want to be on 21 lap old hard tyres for the restart. Lawrence now back in the frame. Trunder's up to second. I'm interested why MCFC decided to pit, because yes, you're going to be on the fresher rubber, but maybe it was a good call because he's not going to lose that many positions because everyone else is going to do exactly the same except for Colin, but that doesn't matter. Colin's going to be behind him, and this is an opportunity not only for Alfa Romeo but Alpine as well. Liam, who is under threat of losing out on staying in this title fight, is in a decent position. However, with Aaron leading the race, this his championship fight could well and be over.
Yeah, Liam's got the freshest tyres then of the top 5. He's also at the front of the guys with the freshest tyres, with Quinn, Lawrence on those mediums, Trunders and Aaron ahead. So Aaron will be looking to hopefully pull away if he can, but I think Liam's in with a very good shout here. Trunders obviously without that penalty, he knows that. Liam unfortunately with the 6 seconds, but Colin has no penalties.
As well.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah, so you could be seeing a Red Bull Mercedes 1-2. Oh, what's happening here? Oh, Lawrence pit. Why did he decide to pit now? Then again, the gap to O'Sully is going to start closing. He might not lose that many positions. I think if I was him, boxing when everyone else did would have been the best choice, because you wouldn't have lost as many positions with the field being bunched up under safety car. He's behind O'Sully. Yuri's ahead of him. Will Giggle get him? Giggle's coming towards turn 1. I think Lawrence is going to be clear, but down to 9th then for the AlphaTauri driver. Who's your money on then, Risky? Who's your money on?
My money
is on. Who is it on?
For the win, I'm going with Aaron still. I think we're going to see an MCFC P2 and a Colin P3. No, Colin P2, MCFC P3. There we go. As the safety car comes in at the end of this lap.
Yeah, 31 laps will have been completed when these drivers cross the line. There will only be 5 to go, because 32, 33, 34, 35 and 36. You've got to count 36, the 36th lap, obviously. Otherwise, we'll be a lap short. But 5 to go. Aaron's on the freshest tyres of everyone in the top 3, but there's going to be Liam, MCFC, there's going to be a lot of drivers behind on fresh softs that are going to be gunning to get as many points as they can here in Austria. And we look like we're getting underway. We will get DRS. There will be some laps with DRS as long as we don't get any more safety cars. 5 to go. Aaron from Trunders. Is there any moves further behind? as Aaron picks up another time penalty, running wide out of turn 1, I think that was, has picked up his second time penalty. That is going to be crucial now, not only for the championship, not only for P1, but for a podium position, as there's a little bit of battling further behind. MCFC and Liam swapping positions. MCFC now ahead of Liam's got 6 seconds of penalties. Colin's still in this as well. Side by side between O'Sully, Colin and the Alpine of Liam getting involved. Has Liam got any damage? He's dropping like a fly, is Liam, as everyone's swarming. There's contact. There's an Alfa Romeo around, and it is Mr. Y-Racer who has bitten off a little bit more than he could chew, getting involved in that battle. Don't think he's got any damage, but that is his chance of not only scoring points, but getting a good position and finish out the window yet again. Hooky now ahead of Sully into the penultimate corner, and everyone's just swapping positions left, right and centre. Liam is in the pits. He's had enough. He's had enough.
MCFC has damage. Colin also has a little bit of wing damage. So Lawrence now down the inside of Colin has an opportunity to push himself even further up the field. So does Hooky as well, because Colin's going to drop with that wing damage. MCFC in 4th is going to be struggling a little bit. He's got front left wing damage, I think it is. And Quinn up in 3rd. He's going to be having a pretty nice time. He's got a P2 on his way if it stays like this. Trunders then needs to just keep within that 6-second gap of Aaron, and Trunders will win this race. And Aaron's going to look to drop about 2nd, maybe 3rd, with 6 seconds worth of penalties. Yeah, he's going to drop 3rd.
To 3rd.
Depending on MCFC and the pace he has, but MCFC is going to struggle and maybe pick up more penalties. Hooky and Giggle come together. That was just a little bit slow for Hooky, and then Giggle tapping the back of him, sent him round, and then Jake and Rageman's AI car are now going side by side. Jake on the back of Mason. We now finally have the RS enabled. Not that these drivers need it, because look at Sully going to go round the outside of Colin into turn 1. Can he get the move done? No, not quite backside of it. Behind is Jake and Mason side by side, but Jake gets that move done. Sully is now past Colin, but on the run down towards turn 3. Mercedes, is he going to have enough pace to overtake the Ferrari? No, I don't think so. He's going to look down the inside, but he's not going to fight down the inside. Not going to send any moves down the inside. A little bit of contact between them.
There was contact between Giggle and Mason as well. I think Giggle might have got a little bit of damage, but Giggle's out of it with 15 seconds worth of time penalties. Colin not doing himself any favours here. He was in a really strong position without a penalty, and now looks like he's only going to be gaining 1 position out of it, because the gap between O'Sully and the rest of the field is 5 seconds.
Yeah, he's not exactly done too well, but that wing damage he's got, I think, has really hindered him. So he's gonna struggle, I think, to keep many of these positions, because he just keeps falling down the order. You can see he's struggling so bad. The Ghost Car Rageman lets his teammate through. Colin picks up a penalty for himself, so there goes any chance of positions gained, really. Giggle has 18 seconds of penalties though, so at least he won't fall behind him. Is Mason not going to be close enough? Will Colin fight Jake back again? He's going to have the pace. He's going to go down the inside at turn 3. Side by side, outbreaks himself. That's going to give Jake the run, and it's also going to give Mason a little look towards turn 4. I don't think he's going to make a move, because Colin will have the DRS, but yeah, no, not quite close enough on this case. And Trunders, by the way, 5/10 off of the leader as we go towards the final lap, so maybe make a move on track, but as it stands, Trunders is going to win this race.
He is indeed, and that is finally filling the boots of that second Red Bull. Finally showing the form that was possible when they signed him up at the start of the season. Final lap here in One Hub's season 19 here in points tier. Lawrence got through MCFC as the squabbling behind happened. Trunders is not only going to get this on track, but Quinn's got to be very careful about where he is going to finish in this race, because there is potential to not only lose out on second, but he could lose out on 3rd place as well if Lawrence and him start battling. Lawrence is going to want it on track. They've got no ARS between them. We have a twitchy move there from Lawrence. He's going to try and go for the exit. these guys don't really want to be battling because they're going to cost each other a podium. One of them's not going to get a podium if they squabble.
Yeah,
It looks to
he's
be
going to go down the inside. Oh, he spun it. Lawrence on the curb, and that's Lawrence's podium chance as well. And truly, can he get back on track ahead of O'Sully? O'Sully will go past, along with Jake. I don't think Mason will go past. They're going to fight side by side in the last corner, but around the final corner to win is Aaron. But Trunders takes it after a dominant race, really, from Aaron. He fought his way up to the top, but penalties ruined his chances. Quinn takes the podium and misses out on second place by 0.072 with MCFC P4. O'Sully comes home in 5th. Jake in 6th. Lawrence dead on the finish line 7th. Rageman 8th in that ghosted car. Mason 9th. Colin 10th. Hockey 11th. Giggle 12th. And Yuri will come home 13th. And our 4 non-finishers are Speedway, Liam, Kingjan and Gazzaman. So this, I think, puts Liam and Rageman out of the championship contention.
Gazzaman's not in a good position either with that DNF and Aaron getting second place. Colin recovered to 10th. However, will extend the gap between him and Gazzaman. I mentioned that if those two were battling, I said Lawrence and Speed Quinn, if they were going to battle, they would one of them would lose out on a podium. Not only did one of them lose out on the podium, but the second one lost out on second place.
If Aaron finished second, Rageman and Liam are eliminated, and Gazzaman must finish 8th or 9th. So all 3 of them are out of championship contention.
So from the looks of things, from the sounds of things, we have crowned ourselves. It may go to the stewards' inquiries for any incidents that have happened during the race. We probably haven't caught everything, and there could be some post-race penalties coming in. But we know for sure that Gazzaman's not going to be scoring any points. Rageman's probably not going to be scoring any points because technically he wasn't in the race. It was his AI car that finished the race.
All depends on the points Colin got and the points Aaron got.
Where did Colin... Colin was second in the championship.
P10.
Collins is still in the fight. I think Collins still in the fight because there's 2 rounds left. 40 points on offer. The gap was 17. Aaron hasn't cleared that by 23 points because it's not possible. So I think it's going to be Mercedes versus Mercedes for the title in the final 2 rounds.
It's going to be very, very close between these two. But it's going to take some doing for Colin, like you say, to win the championship. But we'll have to find out as we go into the final 2 rounds, the penultimate round next week. But before we sign off, driver of the days, and I'm going to jump in there first and give it to MCFC because his pace today was incredible. And a question for him is, can he see himself getting himself onto the podium in the final 2 races? Because he came close this week and he's come close before.
Yeah, he came close to snatching victory as well because of a little incidents up ahead, and that penalty as well that he got really made him suffer in the finishing order. My driver of the day nomination is for who we're going to give it to. We will give it to O'Sully in the Ferrari because that's, I think, his best finish of the season. And my question is, even though the end of the season is coming, do you think you could keep this consistency of points finishing positions for the final 2 rounds? And could we see you slide inside the top 10 for the drivers' standings? So those are 2 nominations. They did only finish 4th and 5th, but they did start outside the top 10. Next week, 2 rounds to go, as mentioned many times, and you're probably sick of hearing it as well. Next week, we have the Circuit of the Americas in Texas, Austin. The USA Grand Prix will be the penultimate round of the season, and it looks to be a battle between the Mercedes, and it's going to go to the end in Imola for round 10. So a new track, not only to these drivers in this game, but a new one to be commentated on as well. and it's going to be a spicy end to the season if Colin can outscore his teammate by a significant amount in USA.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good fight, and you're going to want to stick around and watch it because these races could provide us with shock winners. It could provide us with shock results completely. So make sure you join us next week. And that's all from me. I'll hand over to Pete. Thanks for watching again, and Pete can outro us out.
Yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I think I saw like 15 or 16 viewers, so thank everyone for listening to my amazingly bad voice. I won't comment on Sully's because it's not my right to do so. Not my right to do so. But yeah, good win from Trunders. Finally getting his first win of the season and putting Gazaman to shame as he finished dead last. So it was Trunders, Aaron, Quinn, MCFC, Sully, Jake, Lawrence, Rageman. I don't think he'll keep you 8. So Mason, Colin, and Hooky will be your top 10. Giggle and Yuri were your final finishers. Speedway, Liam, Kingjan, Gazaman all crashing out. Gazaman doing so really early on and has thrown his championship out the window. And that is it for him for this season. But there is still a possibility for constructors, I think, although Mercedes were quite dominant and could have it wrapped up by the time the scores are totted up for next week. Thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to check out the rest of the streams happening here in OneHub. You've got Podium, which has got a commentator for. They went live at about 7:15, so they'll be mid-race. Be sure to tune them in. They'll be on YouTube. On Twitch is Precision. Twitch is Precision. That starts at 7:45, 7:45, and then at 8:30 will be Pinnacle, and that's where we'll see the fastest drivers tackle this circuit here in OneHub. Thank you all for watching. I've rambled on enough. There's 6 of you still here. Please go tune into the rest of them. We'll see you all next week.
Bye.